Alright, we are live. Hey YouTube. It is a crisp, early fall, Sunday morning. I am walking to work, which is actually kind of sort of nice because this means that I will get out at 1:30 and then I still need to message my parents and find out. But they should... Make sure my phone stays there. There we go. They should be able to give me a ride home from work. Someone says S4 star. Who is that? Oh, sup. Hello. Well, I'm gonna say Gordon. We'll go with Gordon for this one. So, let's get to our topic. Why is it so jiggly down here? Okay. We're gonna trust that. So, what am I doing? I don't even have my earbuds in for good. So let's get to the topic as I get those out. Yeah. Today's topic is things that I used to think were taboo, but they actually aren't. Sort of. So basically, there are a lot of things that I don't know exactly why, but growing up, I kind of sort of ended up thinking that they were taboo when they aren't. And so for me, it was these things are things you don't talk about. Well, sort of. I mean, I knew for some of them there was a time. How's that sound? Should sound better. I knew for some of them there was a time and a place where it was acceptable, but that time and a place was almost absolutely never. And it's still very, very small for the times and the places for some of the stuff. I'm really thinking of just one thing. But I could probably apply other things into the same space. Ooh, one like, thank you. Could probably apply other things into the same space. Now, I'm going to give just a little bit of a warning here. And I'm going to say... So, on this channel, videos are like really clean. Scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the cleanest, and 1 being the absolute dirtiest. Like, 1 being, let's just stick a triple X rating on it, kind of a thing. If you don't know what that means, you're lucky. Don't Google it. And I mean, don't. You won't be able to unsee. There might be a way to find out what it means without seeing it. But anyway, so... yeah, this video... Most videos are 10. This video is going to come in at like an 8. Says why. Yeah, I'm not... Ugh. So, basically, it's pretty dirty. I'm going to end up saying what kind of sort of related to that rating. This video is not that rating. This video is just coming in at an 8. Number 1 is the worst. 10 is the best. This video comes in at an 8. Right in there with the ranks of how different rages react to crude humor. Because that one was meant to make a point. So it's kind of sort of a different category. And this one kind of is too. But so here's the thing. The big thing that I'm thinking of for me that was very much so taboo growing up, like you didn't speak about this like ever, except in a few situations which we'll get to in a moment. Well, that was sex. If you're young enough, you don't know what it is, your parents will tell you, okay? I'm going to get to a little story about that in a minute. But that was something that, for me, I thought was just, for whatever reason, and my mom doesn't even know where I got this impression. Part of it's probably just me being a little bit extreme sometimes and whatnot. But I legitimately thought that, like, when you get married, you can talk about it. And, maybe if you absolutely have to talk about it before, then you talk about it with the right person, such as your parents, or I would assume a bishop could do that role, which now I definitely know that he could. But you just don't say anything about it at all, unless, and then when you get married, then you can talk about it. But even then, it's still limited, restricted to when you can talk about it. And I've come to find that that is not the case. And also, I don't need to be as beat around the bush as I have been with this sort of a topic. There is let me switch arms here quickly. So, like, a good example is, I used to listen to the song I Think We're Alone Now by Tommy James and the Shaunadells. It's a fun, catchy song, but sadly, it's about sex. So, that isn't a song that I listen to anymore. But it's catchy enough, I would definitely be guilty of, like, listening to it if it came on the radio or someone else was playing it or something like that. But, back then, I had this little phase where I was kind of sort of singing songs that I liked because it was fun, singing around my friends, which they kind of enjoyed it and liked it. And I even have singing month on this channel. And it's really just because of fun, not because I sound good. Says you're live at... I don't know what that means. I'm just walking to work, if that's what you're asking. But so... my friends kind of asked me if I knew what that song was about, and I did. And so I said, well, it's about... Yeah. That was my beat around the bush. Oh, he says, oh. So, yes, that does explain he was asking where I'm live, so that's good. Yes. So, I was beat around the bush about that way. That's what I would do. And the moment it worked, they kind of laughed a little bit. Because of, it's kind of... And looking back on it, it is kind of sort of funny that I would, like, write it out that way. There's nothing wrong if you say the word when, like, you're actually meaning it. And you're talking about it in the right context. You're using it right. Don't just talk about it all the time. But a good example of right context would be, this was way back when Transformers number 2 came out, which oh my goodness, that movie was so horrible. I saw the first movie, because Transformers are cool, I like them, but I had really only seen, like, Transformers Cybertron, I think. To this day, I've only seen bits and pieces of the other series, because when I was young, my mom was kind of sort of opposed to me watching shows like that, a little bit violent, but she became okay with it. Over time, it became a little bit more okay. I still don't watch super violent stuff, but I would, like, watch bits and pieces of them on Hasbro.com, and then several months, maybe a year or so later, when I'd finally tune back in to watch a little bit more, it was like a different series or something. I had no idea where I was. But Cybertron, showed up on YouTube. Oh, he got Transformers toys from McDonald's. That's cool. You mean like the French fries and stuff? The burgers? Oh, Bumblebee. Okay, so we got Bumblebee. Yeah, I got it from a friend. I have some McDonald's French fries that transform into a lion. I'll have to show those in a video sometime. They're kind of cool. But anyways, so, when the movies came around, it was like, I'd seen some Transformers. Transformers were cool. I definitely even liked just the idea of Transformers. Like, if you told me about them, or like you said it was your own idea, I would say, that's cool. You should do something with that. But so anyways, the first Transformers movie came out, and I watched it. I knew it was going to have a little bit of crude humor in there. But what can you do? Excuse me. What can you do? It's, we're in a day and age where everything has just gone super inappropriate. And, yeah, you live with it or else you don't watch anything. So I was kind of sort of okay with it. And there were like 3 inappropriate things. Then we went and saw the second film. And there was like 6 or 7 inappropriate things. And we went from something like a fart joke to sex. And it was absolutely horrible, especially given the audience that was going to be seeing those films. Maybe you meant them for adults, but you gotta realize there are a lot of kids who like Transformers, especially the newer generation, just getting into them and catching up on some of the newer series. And I think there even were some newer Transformers series, like TV series released around then too. But so anyways, it was Transformers number 2. And I was over at my aunt's house. I think it was for piano lesson, although I'm not sure when. I don't remember exactly when I stopped taking piano lesson because I got bored. But she mentioned that my cousin wanted to go see Transformers number 2. And it sounded like he was just finally getting on the bandwagon that I had already left. And so I said, those movies have some bad stuff in them. And she was like, like violence? No, something else. And I forget exactly how I said it, but I tried to avoid saying the word. And as I tried to do that, I could tell quickly that it wasn't going to work, and I was going to have to say it. So, I said it. I said, no. Sex. She's like, oh. And she finally got the magnitude of it, because violence isn't too bad, as long as it's not super violent, as long as you don't have, like, rated for violence. No. Well, I mean, it also depends on where it's coming from, too. I will say that I have, in my personal collection, 2 films rated R, and these are both for language. One of them is Standoff with Brendan Fraser, and the other one I haven't watched yet, it's Steve Jobs' Man in the Machine. Both from the dollar store, because we get DVDs every once in a while. And I've only said okay to those because I hear so much language everywhere else. The rating system is so skewed. If it's for language, I'll be okay. If it's violence, I'm not sure about that one. Most likely not, because it's going to be probably too violent for me, and there's going to be discussing things that I don't want to see. But, hey, So, yes, I had to go out, and I had to say sex in order to. Probably going to get demonetized. Actually, I'm not even monetized. Why am I saying that? But, yes, I had to go out and say that. and she got the point of it. I don't know if they've actually seen the film, and I've heard from a friend who did watch the other films that they just got worse over time as far as being inappropriate. Now, I am kind of tempted. I do actually want to go see the last Transformers film that was released because I'm very intrigued by the whole evil Optimus Prime thing. That has me really curious. So I do kind of want to go see that one. And I don't know if my friend has seen it. I'll have to talk to him because I'm curious if it's turned around. And it probably hasn't. Interestingly, like the Alvin and the Chipmunks series actually did. I saw the first film. That was good. I actually really liked that one. Although, I don't know if my tastes have changed since then, but I really liked that one. And then I saw the second Alvin and the Chipmunks film. That one was good too, except for, well, it was a little bit more crude. And then the third one came out, and I was kind of online curious about what they rated it and whatnot. And I noticed, I kind of don't remember the first film's rating, but I think it was rated G. And then the second film was rated PG, and the third film rated G again. So I'm wondering if somewhere in there they've got some backlash. There was a film, I'm not going to say why, you guys can look it up. I forget the name, but it was something about a dog who was like a secret agent or something, spy. But he had to go in and infiltrate this drug ring or whatever, a cartel at this like dog show type of thing. And it was definitely meant to look like a kid's film. I probably think it was a kid's film. But there was one part in there that was so bad. A lot of people were posting about it. And after reading that, I'm like, yeah, that's horrible. Why? Don't put that in your films. So, we're going over the place here. Here we go. Yeah. Back to things being taboo. So, yeah. Now I realize that there is a time and a place. And it's a little more than I thought. Like, if I needed to talk about it with my parents, I could do that. That's not taboo. In fact, they're kind of sort of responsible for talking to you about it. And I think it's very sad when other sources end up being how you find out, or they end up telling you. That's, I get there are some scenarios where you might have to, or you feel like you have to, but there are plenty of non-trustworthy sources out there, so gotta kind of be careful about that. But there are times and places, and they're not as taboo as I thought it was. I mean, we still don't talk about it all the time, but yeah. See, I'm trying to think if there are any other things that I would put under this category here. I think drugs I might put under that category. Although that's the same, it's very similar to taking pills. I didn't know a lot when I was young, but that was something that I probably would have put under this category too. Oh, here's something I can say related. I just remembered this. So, when I was, I was like probably 12 at the time, and the Bishopric started having Bishopric firesides for the 3 different age groups that we have at church, above 12. And these were where you'd go to a member of the Bishopric house on Sunday evening, and they would talk about a certain topic. And I'm really glad that they did this. There was a very special initiative going on, and it was good, preparing a lot of us for what was to come. Especially some of the stuff, like they weren't necessarily talking about this at church, although they did sometimes. And I don't know. It kind of sort of seems like maybe some people probably felt it was a bit much, but I think it was good. I think a lot of us did need that one more place where they were mentioning it. But there was one member of the bishopric back then, and he he talked to us 12-year-olds about kind of a little bit about dating, and one of the things he said was, like, don't until you're 16, don't even think about it. Which, what he meant was, if you're not 16, you shouldn't be dating, so don't date people. Don't call it that, don't do that sort of a thing. But if you wanted to maybe here and there think about and imagine what it would be like, or, make preparations, that's okay. As long as you're not going like super crazy, like, oh, my first date's going to be this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to date this guy. No, but if you think about it every once in a while, it's totally acceptable. If you think about it, if you wonder, that's totally acceptable if you're thinking about it here and there. What I took it to mean was, don't even think about it here and there in your mind. That's just a no. That's a you don't do that. And just kind of crossing to avoid some dogs, but I'm going to cross like this. I'm not scared of dogs. I just want to make it easier on both of us. So, yeah, that's what I took it to be. And my mom and the reason I know about this is because my mom told this story again. Because, like, I know, well, yeah. So, she said what happened was that what am I trying to say? Yeah, she said that she kind of asked me, back when I was like 12 or so, maybe 13 even, what did I think about dating? And I said that this member of the bishopric said, don't even think about it. And so I literally did not even think about it ever. Eventually I did. Eventually, it started just creeping in, and different little moments happened. And, I had like once where this one girl was kind of cute, but that was very quick, like, I don't know, for 30 seconds or so. Oh, she's kind of cute. But then that went away, especially since I wasn't thinking about it. And, but I learned since then that's not what he means. And it's definitely not as strict and taboo as I was thinking it to be. But there are a lot of places where, for me, I follow the rules kind of exactly. Then there are other places, sadly, where I kind of don't. So, I'm kind of sort of an all or nothing guy, but not completely. So, yeah, oh, what was I going to say? Now I forgot what I was going to say. But yes, that's one where it's even more so okay to think about before you're old enough, than it is the other one, the sex, which I try to say less and less. But yes. And it's actually probably good to do a little bit of thinking about it and kind of sort of getting yourself ready. If you have some idea of what's supposed to go on, what could go on when that happens, then, hey, I don't know, things are going to be a little bit better, which is why also they encourage you to do some dating before your mission. You can't get married, but, hey, it's good experience, and I've done some dating, I've got some experience. Currently, right now, I'm not even thinking about it, because in like 6 months, I'm going to be gone, so, what's the point? There's not really any point at this point. Other than maybe more experience, but I don't know. I feel like I have enough, and with all the stuff that I'm working to do, it'll make it a little bit easier if I don't. That's kind of sort of end of my thoughts. I'm going to see if I can think of anything else. Yep. I will be gone. So I will quickly say, though, if you missed it, there is a video about this specifically you can look up. But in about 6 months, I'll be going on an LDS mission for 2 years, but that doesn't mean the end of the channel. I've got some things that I just need to edit, and those will be uploaded when I'm gone automatically via YouTube. That's the short answer there. You can go find the LT/announcement about missions, and I mentioned it a few other places too. But I'm going to see if I can think of any other thing I want to say related to this topic. If not, then we will end. What was that other thing that I was thinking of? Is there anything else that I would have considered taboo back then that I don't know? I can say basically the big thing is I have, what am I thinking of? This is reiterating what I said before, but, there are certain scenarios where, saying it is okay. So, I can say it's not necessarily the word so much as it is, what's the word? Yeah, so much as it is the content of it. Like, if you went any further, like back in the scenario with my aunt, it was a good thing that I told her what type of content was in the Transformers #2. And, that was kind of it. You don't really need to go further and explain anything. It just kind of stopped there. But actually, I remembered I wanted to say some things about language. Because there are plenty of words that there's somewhere in the Bible that says, say what you say what you mean. Oh, this person's saying bye. If you gotta go, go ahead and go. Yeah, this person's saying, say what you say and mean what you mean. So there is a lot of the bad words, like, I think there are certain scenarios where they would be appropriate to use. Like, if you're using them in the right context, then it's okay. But there are some scenarios where it's not okay. And a lot of them we just avoid altogether, especially since there are other ways of saying it. This is one that I'm not completely sure about. One example that I can give related to this is growing up, I liked The Sword and the Stone. It wasn't my favorite, but it was one of the few Disney movies that I actually liked. And so, yeah. But then, as of a few months ago, there was a show that was going to be played on TV, and it was Excalibur, which was named after King Arthur's sword, the Excalibur. And first of all, I found out by doing a little bit of online research after a little bit of this film that King Arthur's not real. Surprisingly, I kind of thought that he was real to some extent. But he's mostly just mythology and whatnot. But here's the story. So, in the beginning of the film, the enemy invites King Arthur's father over for a dinner, and they have just a nice friendly evening, a big huge feast, kind of get to know, let's be friends for just a little bit. And I don't think they were working on any sort of a treaty or whatever, but that's what they did. And it was a jolly good evening. King Arthur's father sees the enemy king's wife, and he says, "Woo, I have got to have some fun with her. I gotta do it with her, basically. So, he goes to Merlin the wizard, and Merlin says, you do this, and you promise to give me the sun, and you can do it. And so he disguises him as the enemy king. He commands his men to stop fighting. They start a war. The enemy king comes out, goes to battle. He goes in and takes care of his lustful desires, comes back. The enemy king has died, and she finds out and doesn't quite know who she's done it with. And then 9 months later, she gives birth to a son. She finds out exactly what happened because King Arthur's father tells her. And despite her begging, of course, there's nothing he can do. He made the promise to Merlin, and so wicked Merlin takes King Arthur away and raises him for his own purposes. I didn't watch the rest of the film, so I don't know the rest of the story, but the point of this story here is that King Arthur is quite literally a bastard. Which means someone who is born out of wedlock, basically. And so I was kind of being beat around the bush about that one. But my mom said that in that scenario it's okay because it's literally the meaning of the word, and so it's acceptable. And so I can see that, and I agree with that. And I'm going to say this because it's... I hate to make light of the matter, but at this point, I would kind of look on it more of as a joke, kind of an inside joke, than I would an actual, than I would an actual thing. But, there's some things that my friend has where you can say some words, without saying them. Like, if you say fish stopper, that is D-A-M, because, because it's on the water. It's the big, huge concrete wall that helps flow the water, and it's a dam, okay? There we go. I said it in the right context, but if you're meaning it the other way, my friend says, you could say fish stopper, which I can't remember if he was being serious or not by this, but there is that. And then for the word I used for King Arthur, you can also say fish poop, and that's because bass is a type of fish, and a turd is another way for saying poop. So, and those are definitely things that even I avoid trying to say, especially on this channel here. This was definitely... This was a little bit on the edge, but it was for a good point. Hopefully I helped or inspired somebody, taught you something, but don't just trust me for it. I'm a person on the internet that you don't know in real life. You should definitely make sure you know what level your parents are at, your guardians, different peers around you. You might be in an entirely different circle where this stuff actually is taboo. And as much as it kind of shouldn't be super taboo, look to how your circle takes it, okay? Because if you're more sheltered, kind of sort of got to live with the rules. I don't want to get anybody in trouble or anything like that. But yes. So I'm going to end on the final thought here, which is, with a lot of the other words out there, I don't know I don't really know of scenarios where they would work yet. I haven't had one happen yet, thankfully. But I'm also kind of sort of curious, and I'll probably talk with my mom about this at some point. Because I kind of want to know, like, is there actually a scenario where this is an okay word? Or are there other words that we should use? And some of these words are used kind of for shock value because they were originally taboo things that people avoided saying. And so now it really adds weight and magnitude to your sentence. There are other ways of doing that. They might not create as much shock, but if you really want to add weight and magnitude, you should say that waking up in the morning is a boon to man. Which, quick little side story here. I haven't done this quite in a while, but there was a while where if I heard a word that I knew what it meant based on context, but I didn't specifically know everything, then I would look it up in a dictionary on my phone to find out what it meant, get the deeper meaning behind it. Because it has so much more meaning when you say boon instead of a good thing, or it's a very good thing for man to wake up early in the morning. And what happened with this was I was in Sunday school. Or, no, it was actually priesthood, sorry. And I forget where we were reading out of. It was one of the books of the prophets, one of those manuals. And he said that waking up is a boon to man. And so for me personally, I was thinking, oh, well, boon means a hard thing. Yeah, that makes total sense. I don't really like getting up early in the morning, although I try. And that was kind of the general vibe that went around the room. So, curious, I was like, so, what's the deeper meaning of boon? I looked it up in the dictionary, and I forget the exact phrasing that it used, but boon basically means a good thing. So then I kind of raised my hand and I said, yeah, I just looked up in the dictionary and it says that boon means a good thing. I was thinking it was a bad thing. And instantly there was kind of sort of this nod of heads. A few people said yes, they agreed with me from my saying that. And the person up at the front said, yes, I'm not expert. She said something like, I don't specifically know what it means either. I'm not expert on that, but I kind of thought it meant a bad thing. But it means good thing, interesting, cool. And I don't know if it was divine revelation for me to look that up or not, but I did. And I'm very glad that I did. So there are words like that you can use to add more meaning to your sentences without using any of the inappropriate words. And so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end it there. Basically repeating things at this point. But yes, if you like this video, leave a like. Keep it clean down in the comment section below. I don't know, if you want to tell stories about Sheltered or tell any stories like that, I might allow some of them. I don't know, we'll have to see. But I'll definitely allow a little bit more than I would on other videos, because this one itself is a touchy topic about things and stuff that are taboo when they aren't as taboo as I thought they were. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in whatever's next.